Okay, you tuned in to the Bull Network. It's your people, Kelly the Bull, my co-host, Tiffany.
Hey y'all, it's Tiffany. Welcome to the Bull. And I'm going to let y'all, our guests, introduce themselves. So go ahead.
Oh, well, hello. My name is Dr. Qiana Cryer-Coupet. I'm an assistant professor in the Department of Social Work at North Carolina State University.
When I got the information that she said she works with helping men when they're dealing with situations in the court system, I thought that was really dope because most of the time when we go to court, and I've been in a situation myself, the judge automatically favors the female over the male. So, and I'm not saying that some guys ain't bad. Some guys are bad. Some guys need to get jammed up in the court system. But if you're not, it's good to know that there's something going. But based on this too, I don't want to ramble, but based on this too, that means the need has already been seen. Like it's probably like numbers saying that how men are being treated different than females. So I'll let you go in on that.
Okay, and so this summer I did a study in Durham and Wake counties where I was recruiting non-resident fathers. So those are fathers who don't live in the same household as their children. And one of my pet peeves as a social worker, so prior to becoming a researcher, is when people talk about absent fathers or, single-headed households as if dads are not involved. And so that's what my work really focuses on, non-resident fathers. So with that, I did a needs assessment. So I talked to 25 fathers in Raleigh and the Durham area about what they felt the social service system in this area could do to better help them become more active in their children's lives, to feel like their voices matter, and to be present. And so my research assistants and I are now working to analyze that data, but one thing that came out very strong was this disconnect between child support and visitation. So I had a lot of dads tell me this summer, I had to hire an attorney to go out and make sure that, my child support situation was straight. Then I didn't have any money left to go to the next system to make sure that I'm getting visitation. And so we're in the process now of writing that up and making sure that information makes it to Wake County Human Services and Durham County Human Services so they can better understand what fathers are going through, how they're feeling about this, what they think the system should do to make sure that they're talking. And I've been talking to administrators from different counties, and there are some counties in North Carolina where child support and access and visitation are talking to each other and it's working out. So we want to make sure that that message makes it back here. And I'm now working on a study with fathers who have children that are living with relatives. So a dad whose child is being raised by a grandma or aunt or uncle or sibling, to do that similar process. How can they better co-parent with those relatives to make sure that they are active in the child's life, the child knows who their father is, and that the dad has support to actually make sure that those things are working out. And so there is an advisory council in the state of North Carolina. It's called the North Carolina Fatherhood Development Advisory Council, and they meet every other month. You can do it virtually or in person. And so if you wanted to meet in person, you could go to any HBCU in the state. So for those of you who are in Durham, you can go to North Carolina Central's Law School. They meet on Mondays every other month. For 1 hour and a half, about from 12 o'clock to 1:30. You can also sign in online and watch the meeting virtually, or you can call by phone. So if you want more information about that, you can look me up on NC State's website, Qiana Cryer-Coupet in the Department of Social Work, and I can send you the email to make sure you're connected. And that webinar every other month consists of individuals from child support, from the visitation office. They're professors, researchers, they're fathers, they're individuals from family services, all in this one setting. So if you have questions or you need information about the court system, you can get that information there. We have lawyers that attend. We have immigration lawyers, so fathers who are dealing with issues around immigration. People that are from the Strong Fathers program have come in before, and so that's a program for fathers who are dealing with issues with intimate partner violence or domestic violence. The Day-to-Day Dads program out of the Family Resource Center of South Atlantic, they have representatives there, so if you're looking for those types of resources to help with parenting, give me a call. So my number is 919-513-1801. You can give me a call or send me an email, and I can help link fathers to those resources.
And I think that's wonderful because the narrative sometimes is that there are fathers that don't care about their children, that they don't want to be around. And a lot of times fathers don't even recognize that their rights are being violated in these situations, to where they're paying out child support or they're attempting to visit the child, but maybe the mother or, like you said, the relative is kind of blocking those relationships. So it's wonderful as a resource that they can go to you and kind of see, what do I do? Because a lot of times they just don't know what to do.
They don't.
And I know a lot of times the courts will grant mothers certain things, and sometimes it's needed, but sometimes it can be kind of unbalanced and unfair.
Right, and I had several fathers to say that this summer when I was interviewing them. You know, I want to be able to see my child more, I want to be more involved, I want, but they were afraid to say anything because they felt that even by saying anything to the mother, that what little rights or access they had, that would be pulled away, not understanding that, you know, you can go to the court and you all can have equal custody. There are rights and laws that work in your favor, well, we just need more dads to speak up and to be present in that system to say, this is what we want to see happen.
So basically, like, when they do the meetups and y'all are going over this information, is it also that it's going to be different outlets for these people that they can learn about while they're listening in or actually being present at these locations?
Yes, so every meeting there's a spotlight speaker. And so the spotlight speaker is highlighting some resource that's available to fathers. So last month it was a national resource. And so there's an organization called the Fatherhood Research and Practice Network. It's out of Temple University in Philadelphia. But if you were to go to their website, they have a resource locator. So you as a father could go and see, oh, well, what kind of resources are available to me in Illinois?
Oh, that's dope.
Or what agencies are available in Missouri. And so it's a national organization. So they were the spotlight speaker for the September meeting. We've had the immigrant lawyer was the spotlight speaker for July. And so in terms of thinking about those resources.
So as time goes on, you'll learn about a lot of resources
Exactly.
based on who the speaker is,
Right.
spotlight speaker is.
Exactly.
And another thing too that I'm actually kind of like inquiring about, is there anything put in place for, let's say there's judges that are in charge of child support? Do they ever get reviewed? And what I mean by review, by looking at the cases and how they deal with the actual public or males, and to see, because I know for a fact that I've seen in Durham, there are certain judges that have no respect for black men. And so when you go in there, you automatically are going to lose at some point. And how they talk to you or how they carry you during the conversation, you feel disrespected. Now that's one thing if you a deadbeat and you ain't never took care of your child,
Right.
or you had a lot going on, abusive, this, that, and the third. But if you were a regular guy that works, had an issue, you and the woman didn't work out, you've been taking care of your child, I don't think there's no reason for you to be disrespected by the judge if you haven't done anything.
Right.
And I think that sometimes I've noticed here in Durham that they'll go into the courtroom and automatically be disrespected just because they're a black male. And it almost seems like I wish that those people could get reviewed to see that trend so they could either be removed or be checked. Because sometimes I feel like judges are like God or something. Like, who checks God? You know what I'm saying? So I feel like that can be a big problem if there's no checks and balances. And I don't know if there are or not.
Yeah, so in terms of saying that, like, there were several men who said that exact same thing
Oh, wow.
this summer. So as you think about, I'm not familiar with the judges who sit in those seats, and so I don't know whether or not they're appointed or elected. And so that's something that could be brought before the council. And so in terms of thinking about being advocates collectively, figuring out, you know, whether or not a person is appointed to that seat or elected. If they are elected, then coming together to say, okay, well, this is the person that we don't want in this seat. We're going to show up to the polls. We're going to vote to make sure that this person is not elected to that
Gotcha.
judgeship anymore. If it's a person that's appointed, then thinking about advocacy, who do we contact? Who is the person that's actually in charge of
Over them.
appointing you to that seat to make that voice heard? Because if it's not getting out there, people don't know that this is a trend that we're seeing in the community, and we're willing to show up to advocate on behalf of having that person out of the seat, then nothing's ever going
It's
to
local politics.
It's going to change.
So we don't pay attention to our local politics, which I haven't. That's why I was asking her. And I just learned, because now I'm trying to think about some campaigns to get some people removed. So pretty much these fathers, just like me, that are having issues with these people in the courtroom, if we start paying attention to local politics, we can change the game.
Absolutely.
The power is mine. I didn't even know.
And so I would say one place that could start, right now in Greensboro, they started a thing called barbershop talks, where
wow.
they're getting fathers together to, you know, it's men only, so I as a female researcher couldn't come and sit in, but trying to think about ways to actually get dads together to start to advocate on behalf of themselves, to talk to each other about issues that are going on, conversations that you probably are having in the barbershop all the time,
anyway.
but on an organized scope. That's something that could happen here in Durham. So you may have 20 guys that show up to say, oh, I was in this courtroom and
With this
particular
person,
judge, right,
we need
we've
to do
all had
something.
this experience. Do we need to change that org petition? What do we need to do? What's going to be our first step in terms of making that change happen?
And the crazy thing, I never paid attention to local politics, and I'm wrong for that. And so each judge that plays a position at the courthouse was voted into that position.
So some are voted Some are elected, but some are appointed.
So I gotta
it'll be important to
I gotta see who is
yeah,
who.
how
Got
they
it.
got to that spot.
Got me ready to do some research. For real.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I'm like, I'm gonna send this to my
Yeah,
research
like,
assistant.
for real.
Because
Like-
that's a question I should know the answer to as well. Not familiar with the Durham County, Wake County, how that works out, but that's something I will definitely.
Yeah,
look
thank
into
you
as
very
well.
much.
Yeah.
And I guess to wrap up what you were saying, tell them again one more time how they can get in touch with you to get a benefit of what you're doing.
Yes, so again, my name is Qiana Cryer-Coupet. You can find me on NC State's website, the Department of Social Work, or you can give me a call at 919-513-1801, and my email address is qcryerc@ncsu.edu.
Thank you.
Awesome.
She about to save us, yo.
Yes, and I love how just with this conversation, y'all have already put the groundwork into place of, okay, let's research how these judges are
real.
sitting,
I'm
and
about
that
to
right
figure it
there may
out.
be the game changer that we need. I like that.
I just like to just to bounce off of that. I think the problem is, and I'm a part of the problem too, because I didn't know the information. I never researched. Is the fact that we're ignorant to the information, and it's not because it's not there. Because we all have phones, we all can Google it, but it's the fact that we feel powerless for some reason. But information is power. So like going forward, I'm gonna research this person in my situation, and I'm gonna see what I can do. But the fact is, we do have a lot more power than we know, and we need to research any problem with anybody, police, the court system. We need to figure out how it can be addressed and fixed, because based on what she was telling me, it can be fixed.